Eric, what's been going on? Why suddenly now are drivers getting a little discombobulated and a little angry?
Uber rolled out upfront pricing for passengers where they just told passengers, you're going to pay this. But drivers were still being told, and the public was still being told, it was routed in the same calculation, time and distance. And what we've learned is that Uber is now doing something else. It's time and distance, and then sort of a route's propensity to pay. Basically, people traveling from point A to point B, we'll run experiments and see how much we think they're going to pay at a given time of day, and then we'll charge them that. And then Uber pockets the extra money that it makes, sometimes reinvesting into driver bonuses or incentives to riders, but they make that extra money instead of passing it on to drivers.
So on aggregate, has what drivers are getting paid, has that gone down at all, or has it just stayed stagnant even as Uber has been able to eke out marginal pennies?
It's really hard to get sort of long-term data on driver pay. Uber argues that they've remained constant. Drivers tend to churn out over, a year. Many of them leave the platform unhappy with their pay, but it's hard to get an exact number on trends in the pay. It varies city by city, and it depends on even the type of driver.
And of course, there's no tipping, obviously, so you don't really know what your driver gets. How does Uber decide whether to charge more on a particular route?
They're using machine learning algorithms, sort of predictive technology to try and figure out, okay, if we charge a little bit more for UberX, our sort of peer-to-peer service, and a little bit less for Uber Pool from here to there, is that optimizing for our income and for usage? So basically they're running all these experiments tied to geographies, and a time of day, to say people traveling from this place to that place, how much are they willing to pay? And then based on those experiments, set the price.
Right. And then, how is Uber doing, Eric? We haven't had an update for a while because obviously it's not a public company, so we can never really tell.
Well, we got their financials for the last year. They lost $2.8 billion last year, not including their China business where they lost another $1 billion. They had about $6.5 billion in net revenue. So they're losing a lot of money, and this is part of their strategy to try and figure out how they can build a profitable business while facing sort of resilient and sort of enlivened competitors like Lyft.